Hey guys, welcome back. This is learning how to W key number 4, where I show you my fights in Solo Arena and break them down and tell you guys exactly why there were wins or losses. One of the things I've always wanted to drastically improve at was my fighting skill in Fortnite, and I truly believe that practice in Solo Arena is the way to do it. Let's get right into the video. In this fight, I have the feeling that my opponent isn't all that great due to my judgment of him from the earlier interactions. Because of this, I play a little more loose and sloppy, which isn't a good thing. I need to end this fight as fast as possible and do all of the correct plays. I notice him ARing my wall, so I find the window to make a wide edit because I know that he doesn't have his shotgun out. I get a free hit, crack his shields, and then I start chasing him to pressure my HP advantage. Notice how you cannot place roofs in this area, and me knowing this, I decided to place a floor instead to stop my enemy in their tracks. In the second fight, notice how I spend some time doing nothing but looking for the enemy. Once I find him, I also take some time to decide what the best play is. In this case, I move far to the left to create somewhat of a right hand peek as I edit this cone and get a free hit on his legs. Now, here's where the mistake comes in. Instead of boxing him through a safe window peek where I wouldn't be exposed to him, I for some reason choose to do a wide edit, half box him, and run out to the left. This is a dry peek, and my opponent, if he was better, could have totally punished me harder for this. I'm very exposed here, and this is something that I need to fix. I need to get in the habit of full boxing opponents through small edits, like a window. In this fight, I actually successfully boxed my opponent through a tiny edit, just like I wanted to in the last fight. I positively win the trade because of that build sequence, and then I have my opponent completely trapped. I missed the edit here, and here's an example of where that blueprint reset trick from episode 3 could have really helped me. I could have hit my opponent and quickly reset to prevent any damage back whatsoever. Either way, I know my opponent is super low HP, so to prevent getting one pumped, I back up really far and make a wide edit to expose my enemy fully and win the fight. Here's an example showing the importance of really being aware of how much damage you're actually taking after you get hit. Sometimes it's 10 damage, sometimes it's 100, and sometimes it's even more. But any of these scenarios requires you to do a different action entirely. Like for example, if you get hit really hard, you need to back up. But if you get hit for 10, doesn't mean much, you can keep pushing. So it's important to check your HP after you get hit. In this fight, I didn't check whatsoever, didn't realize I got hit for 100, and kept pushing, which inevitably gets me killed. The lesson? Check your HP and actually understand the amount that you get hit for each time. Here's an example where edit into cone into trying to shoot was the wrong play. Instead, I should have tried something like Noah Really, where he edits, cones, and then resets, and then maybe after, he makes a favorable edit to make a shot happen. That way, he prevents getting hit by the enemy, and is able to make some sort of really good peek. This is definitely a better alternative to what I did. In this fight, I have an HP advantage, and I'm trying to pressure my opponent to clean up the fight. I catch my opponent off guard with an AR spray, and crack his shields. Knowing this, I start to pressure harder because my HP advantage just got better. I use the purple tack to its strengths, which is the fact that it can take pieces easily. Trying to predict the enemy shotgun shot, I throw myself into the left corner of this box to try and dodge this oncoming shot, but it never comes, and then I clean up the fight. There's actually something really important in this fight that can net you a huge HP advantage really early on. Here, when I'm trying to shoot out my opponent's builds, I make sure I shoot it out at the very bottom. This makes it so my enemy can't build for a longer period of time when I AR him on top of his breaking builds. This is key if you want to end fights quickly, and if you recognize a scenario just like mine, be sure to utilize this tactic and shoot out the most bottom build. And then this will cause a huge HP advantage early on in the fight. Because of this huge HP advantage, I push hard and win the fight. Understanding the HP of builds can net you a kill really easily. I'm trying to pressure this enemy who I have an HP advantage over, and while I'm desperately trying to get in his box, I'm paying close attention to the HP of all the builds that he's editing and resetting. I find the one where I can single pickaxe through and surprise him. He doesn't hold the wall, and I get in his box and end the fight. The lesson, pay close attention to the HP of the builds around your fight because an enemy can surprise you or you can surprise an enemy with this tactic. I glide in and get a huge hit on this enemy, but notice how bad this edit is. It would be significantly better if I did a window edit because then my enemy can't escape easily. Arena is all about ending fights quickly and letting this enemy escape just does not help. Either way, I ramp up, I notice that my enemy isn't looking towards me at all, and just AR through his bills to get the kill. Notice how I'm paying close attention to the awareness of my enemies, and when there's times where I can exploit the fact that they are unaware, I do. There's no need to replace this wall when I can just shoot through it, in this case, and get the same result, especially when he's incredibly low. The next kill has nothing much to it other than a decent piece control play. The improvement in this fight would be to make a window to piece control him, and then that way it would be much safer. In this last fight, I get a quick snipe on an unsuspecting enemy and then move on to the next target. Notice how quick I am to build off any third-party attempts from someone else in sweaty sands and focus on the enemy that I have an HP advantage over. Preventing unnecessary third-party damage is key to winning fights in solo arena, as third parties are extremely common. Also, notice how I timed the edit when my wall is healthy instead of a randomly timed edit whenever I felt like. This prevents any unexpected wall takes from my enemy as I edit, since my wall HP is pretty healthy and then won't break to a single AR shot. That's the end of this episode of learning how to W key. There's actually quite a lot of valuable details in this episode, stuff that you could totally apply to your own fights. So if you guys learned anything new from my fighting and or my mistakes that you didn't know before, please consider subscribing and telling me in the comments what you learned specifically. Guys, I want to know specifically. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.